Mr. Moneke, could you unmute yourself and turn your video on? Okay, your video is on, just unmute yourself. Okay. Oh. Try unmuting yourself.
You are the one muting me.
Okay, sir, you are on now.
Okay, you are on now. I said, welcome to the program, Mr. Moneke.
Thank you very much.
All right, what do you make of the 10-day protest so far? Ending today, what happened that should not have happened, and what did not happen that should have happened, according to your perspective?
Well, I think the 10-day protest has come and gone. Of course, it will end today, like you said. The point was made, except that in a country like this, the value of human life is not worth much, because government operatives, that's security agencies, often descend on protesters. And of course, they will always tell you that the protest was hijacked. And because of that, certain things happened. Violence came into the whole mix. But I believe that it is the government, our government itself, that brings sow the seed for violence in most protests. Most protests are designed to be peaceful, but somehow the government tries to, in liaison with touts and talks of people who will violence on the system, try to infuse violence into the whole thing as an excuse for them to descend and begin to harass people who are not. This should not be so in a democracy, but it happens here. It happened during the military government, and it's happening now. So in terms of modus operandi, you will not say that there's much difference between what protesters were treated during the military era and what is going on now.
All right, sir. You talked about the government hijacking the process, but remember that initially the judiciary restricted protesters to certain locations and areas in order to forestall any event of loss of human lives. So why then are you saying that it was the government that initiated the process of attacks on human rights?
Government should stop getting judiciary involved. Judiciary is a sacred place. The government is messing up judiciary and trying to politicize judiciary. Judiciary has no reason to even give any order resisting protesters to certain things, to certain areas. Protesters are supposed to be seen by everybody. Whatever their grievances are known to people. To put them in, say, okay, go to stadium and probably make noise there. In the stadium, any day you go to stadium, the people are it's full, because either people are doing one thing or the other. If you restrict people to the stadium, it's the same thing as asking them not to protest at all. So the issue of resisting people to is covered, where they will not be seen. It's the same thing as decreeing or using the administrative fiat to outlaw protest. It's the same thing as outlawing protest. So I think government should try not to bring the judiciary into the mess.
Okay. Mr. Moneke, how would you assess government's response, especially the response of the security agencies to the protest? Yeah, this current protest, how would you assess in comparison with what transpired during the EndSARS, the human rights violations and the justice served thereafter?
There's not much between what happened in this one and what happened during the EndSARS, except that in EndSARS, most of the culprits, most of the victims who were shot dead by the military were from Lagos State. But this time again, they were from states in the north. But if you look at it, if the security agencies belong to the state of Nigeria, then there's not much between what happened that time and what happened now, because the security agencies, descended on the protesters and killed some of them with live bullets, who shouldn't be, because and that was actually what led to violence. If you don't disperse, if you don't use violence, infuse violence into the protest, I don't think most of those protests will be violent. It is the government through the security agencies who think, I think, when you say maybe it's eye service, but so I will not categorically say that somebody sent them. But most of them are trying to do eye service, and in doing so, they aggravate the situation, and that leads to losses of life. And it shouldn't be so.
The Nigerian army recently gave an indemnity of 300,000 naira to Ishmael Mohammed, who was killed during the protest. Do you think justice has been served in this regard?
That is how cheap human lives are in this country. Somebody lost his life, and you are giving the family 300,000 naira. Is it to buy coffin, or is it to do what? Is it to train the children, or is it to pay house rent? Is it to eat when you kill the breadwinner? You see, these are the kind of things that engender corruption even in the system. The policeman is on national service, and he loses his life, and then there's nothing you are doing to protect the family in his absence. What is 300,000 naira? It's like you're not giving them anything. So I do not want to discuss 300,000 naira that was given to people, because it's a shame.
What would you want the Nigerian government to do, or independent judicial bodies like NPA to do, in order to protect the lives, the human lives, especially the lives of those protesting?
If you say Nigerian government, yes, but if you say independent body like NJC or NJC has nothing to do with protesters. We must look at the constitutional remit of NJC. They have to do with the judiciary, making sure that there is judiciary, and there is a discipline and conduct in the judiciary. So they have no role to play there. But if you say government, yes, government should direct the security agencies to stop the eye service they are doing and behave like their contemporaries in an advanced world. If you want to use dispersed people, maybe they're trying to get violent, you should use rubber bullets. Live bullets, when you use live bullets, it is used to kill. And I mean, you shouldn't kill citizens because there is a bullet. As much as possible, try to manage protests without killing people. So I think the government has a lot to do there, but I don't think NJC has anything to do with.
Besides, beyond the government, the NBA initially said that they would provide pro bono services to people, and we saw that happen. We saw some of their members. Only that at a point, it was as if they relaxed. They relaxed, making one of the protesters show reaction, castigate them. So, don't you think that the NBA in particular has a role? I'm talking about the aftermath now. Lives have been lost. Human rights violations have occurred. So, we are now talking about the justice system in Nigeria. How will justice be served? Those lives who have been lost, the property destroyed, how can they be retrieved? Who should spearhead this justice system? That's what I'm asking.
Okay, the NBA, the promise of the NBA to offer pro bono services to victims of the violent demonstration or killing, because the killing was an extrajudicial killing. So if NBA says they will offer pro bono services to ensure justice for the people, that is good. But aside from that, I don't think NBA has much to do because it's a professional body, and it's not part of government, and there's little it can do apart from trying to offer pro bono service. That is to offer services free of charge, to assist the victims to get justice, to make sure that justice is served. And if they decide to do that and they are doing that, no, we should congratulate them that they are doing well. And other people like NMA should also encourage their members who work in hospitals to also offer emergency services to victims of social attacks, like without asking them, without going through formalities.
All right. We were alarmed when we heard that, I think, by human rights groups said that at least 1,000 protesters have been arrested and detained by the Nigerian government. Now, the question is, what will the government do with all these protesters, detained protesters?
I believe that the government will release them. It's all intended to, in my opinion, it's all intended to demoralize the protesters and make sure the protest does not go ahead. Otherwise, what is the locus of government in detaining those people? It's one of those things that we complain about, that government should, as much as possible, allow protest, because we are in a democracy, and protest is an inherent part of democracy. What government should be doing is managing protests to make sure that there are no negative fallouts. But suppressing protest, to me, is not, does not show that you are running a democratic government.
Let's move a bit away from the judiciary, but still on the human lives. We saw children as young as 5 years of age in the north among the protesters. I mean, what do you make of this scene? Do you think that these children should be protesting while their mates are in the classroom learning civic education? What do you make of it?
What did you say?
I was talking about the children, underage children protesting in the north. I mean, well, maybe they should not be protesting in the streets while their mates are in the classroom learning. So, what do you make of such a thing?
It is because in the north you have a lot of out of school children. You know, the children in the north are usually.
Since we have a slight disconnection. We are still talking about Mr. Moneke, if you're still there, reconnect and go on. We are still talking about the value of human lives, and the role of the judiciary in Nigeria, especially as regards protecting the rights of the people to protest, as well as protecting their lives and property during the course of this protest. Mr. Monek, are you still there? Speak on. Today is August 10th, the final day of the days of great protest. Since we have lost him, please try reconnecting, try coming back, Mr. Monek. Mr. Monica, you are back. Can you hear me? Turn your video on and unmute yourself. Mr. Monica. Mr. Monica, can you hear me? Mr. Monica, if you can hear me, please speak on. Try reconnecting the video.
Yes, the thing actually suddenly went out of connection.
Yes.
So,
Yes, could you turn on your video? Could you set your video, please?
yes, it's on.
Oh, turn the camera horizontally. Why I did last time? Horizontal direction. All right. Okay. I asked you earlier about the underage children in the north protesting. All right, I asked you earlier about the underage children in the north protesting. Do you think that this is the right thing to do, especially when the mates are in the classroom?
The abuse of them have become in the north. See, even during elections, you see underage children in the north going out to vote, as if they are exercising their fundamental human right. So I don't know whether you can call that is part of their culture, that what is written in the law, that children that are underage should not be exposed to certain things that are actually meant to be for adults. It's not, they don't abide with it in the North. They use children to do what adults should do. And I think that is where government should come in, because it's not fair, to be exposing children to such danger and harm when they're supposed to be learning in school. To that extent, I want to condemn the use of children in demonstration, especially in the North, where it is a commonplace. It is bad. I want to say that it is a bad thing to do. It should not be encouraged at all.
Right, thank you very much. In this protest, we have seen conflict of demands. Unlike in the NSAS, there was a specific demand, which was the ban of or the scrap of the section of the police force. But here we are having various complex dynamics of demands. For example, in the North, you have some people calling for the regime change. You have those who are calling for the destruction of the 1999 Constitution. But others are saying, no, that should not happen. So why do you think there is this conflict of demands? And how can it influence protesters going forward? Because I think that after today, protests might continue, because according to Shore, none of the demands has been met by the government. So this conflict of demands, how will it affect the protesters going forward? Hope you heard my question, Mr. Monet.
Are you hearing me?
Yes. I can hear you. Speak up. Someone right there. Very sad indeed. Second, please.